Probably the worst single player Dragon Ball fighting game experience. It was not worth the length of time it took for it to come out. If it was competitive focused, it would have succeeded more. Sadly, this game came out during the worst period of gaming in my opinion. Esports and competitive gaming really ruined this. So you just gotta love Dragon Ball Z. Now look, I know what y'all thinking.
Are you out of your mind? The game just came out. How exactly could it be the greatest of all time?
Enough, loudmouth. On and on like a broken record.
Sorry, gotta get better control of that. Good evening everyone, I'm Hinata's Wish, and boy do I have a video for you. Listen, enough. See, the problem with Twitter is you're only limited to 250 characters to say what you want. You see everyone, that's where I step in. 250 characters, how about 3,237? We've literally waited 20 years for this game, and I'm about to let it be subjugated to opinions on a website known as x.com, formerly known as Twitter. See, the problem nowadays is that people don't think before they speak. That's okay. That's why I'm here. There we go. All better. Now listen, I have two ways to make this video. Reason number 5, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is the greatest. No, we don't have time for that. You wanna know why? Because ladies and gentlemen, I like to put effort into my videos. Effort. That's what we're lacking nowadays. Now, if you enjoyed Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, this is the video for you. If not, why are you here? Like, ladies and gentlemen, I waited 90 days to collect my thoughts and opinions on this game, and this is without a doubt the greatest Dragon Ball game to ever exist. I know what you're thinking. How could someone say that when Budokai Tenkaichi 3 exists? And this is coming from someone who very possibly has over 1,000 hours on the Budokai Tenkaichi and Budokai series combined. See, usually I struggle what I'm going to say in these videos, but for the first time ever, I think I have too much to say. I haven't played a Dragon Ball game consecutively this much since maybe the Budokai HD collection. You can all call it recency bias or whatever, but I finally have felt the passion for Dragon Ball games again that I haven't felt since I was a child. Every minor or major issue I had with the previous 10 Dragon Ball games were finally addressed and fixed, or thankfully not added to the game, like not being able to remove time limit and local battle. For the Xenoverse games, a very silly addition I must say. The goal of this video, by the time I'm done with this video, it should make you want to pick up the controller and hop on Sparking Zero, even if it's to play it against the computer offline. With that being said, this is why Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is the greatest Dragon Ball game of all time.
So I love chickens.
I just want to say that this is factually the greatest looking Dragon Ball game in history. Thanks to the power of current gen consoles and hardware, my two favorite stages in this game so far are Planet Namek and the Land of Kai's, formerly known as Supreme Kai's World in the past 1,000 Dragon Ball games. Just looking at the grassy texture of the planets quite literally makes me want to come back and play more. This is the world that Akira Toriyama envisioned with his pen. It is amazing to see how far we've come in graphics and technology since Budokai 2. All that time spent fighting Kid Buu on that low resolution grass patch to the masterpiece we have now. This game finally has multiple stage variations, including nighttime cell games. I can't tell you how aggravating it was seeing Bardock stare up in the moon on a BT3 scrap stage, and I spent months trying to figure out how to unlock the secret stage, or what time it was when you couldn't look everything up on YouTube. I love fighting at the daytime cell games because the daylight gives a vibe straight out of the manga and anime. Seeing the detailed snow-covered mountains in the background and the overall expanded scenery makes this game feel so rich. And of course, you can always switch up the scenery to the evening time. I don't know why this was the default stage in Rage of Blast 2, that genuinely annoyed me back then. The city stage finally has two different daytime variations, one in the sun and then one that's specifically cloudy. No more having to fight in the evening time just to see the sun. The nightmare is over, ladies and gentlemen. I also like first time addition to the Destroyed City from the Goku Black Saga and the Tournament of Power Arena. However, it felt like there was much more space back in Xenoverse 2, but that may have had to do with the Xenoverse being such a large game that needs the space for multiple players at once. The World Tournament looks amazing. The people are no longer pixelated and blurred in the background like we had for many years. I really like a certain Easter egg in the game where you're about to do a powerful move and Mr. Alonzo, yes, that's his name, tells everyone to evacuate, then the entire map turns into the battleground. The number of details and features this game has still blows my mind. Aside from the stages looking beautiful in detail, we can't forget about the characters. As I said, even the minor details are included. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, every single Super Saiyan transformation is golden. Not mustard yellow, not lemon, but golden blonde hair. You know what's crazy? This used to be an Easter egg back in the Tenkaichi games. Only person with golden blonde hair was Mid Goku from the original Super Saiyan transformation. While everyone else had mustard yellow hair, I'm still curious to this day as why. I genuinely believe that Budokai 2 had the worst Super Saiyan hair models to this day. I love transforming in this game. Every single transformation is an Easter egg in its own. It feels so rewarding. And don't get me started on the physics. Physics are by far the most goated feature in the game. Wind and gravity finally exist, everyone. Seeing the grass and surroundings blow away whenever someone is charging up makes the game feel so alive. However, I have to be honest, Xenoverse did kinda eat this one little thing when rocks rise around a powerful fighter's aura. I love using Teen Gohan in this game. This is the first game that features a caped Teen Gohan since Dragon Ball Z Sagas, which quite literally released 20 years ago. By the way, y'all should definitely check out my impressions on this game after all these years. Go on, get up. Just go. I can't. No more. Speaking of Teen Gohan, his transformations have to be the hardest in the game. Using the Easter egg for when he really transformed in the show and manga, we can finally be Super Saiyan 2 Gohan with the cape. Quite literally, all I've been asking for years. The fusions in this game are also stunning. Gogeta, Vegito, of course OP. Gotta love the Tenkaichi game. The battle damage is by far the best in ages, with multiple layers that genuinely stunned me at first. Goku can actually fight Frieza starting from his base form gi all the way to his training shirt ripped off completely like in the actual fight. Not only is the battle damage just in gameplay, you could select it from the start before the battle. I used to love seeing Gohan in his Saiyaman gi after his battle with Dabura and Majin Buu, and now I don't have to go to the training mode to do it anymore. Even the glove is off from Dabura's spit. The Easter eggs are endless.
This'll finish you off! Kamehameha!
Now, at the time of this recording, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero officially holds the record of the Dragon Ball game with the most characters ever, finally surpassing Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I'm going to be honest, you really don't start to notice how many they are until you're selecting your team online. If you know, you know. I like the different eras across some characters and how they have unique abilities and attires, like Super Goku with the Whis gi. I'm still not used to having Super included alongside the entire roster. I forget how long it's been since we had a Tenkaichi game. I'm just happy that finally, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time since Raging Blast 2, we have base form Team Gohan. Game after game, year after year. Yes, it quite literally took them 15 years to let us play as base form Team Gohan again. Why he is constantly skipping in games has always been beyond me. I know he was basically in his Super Saiyan form the entirety of the saga, but still, it's the minor issues like this that after a while turn major. And it still makes a difference in the end. We also have the return of giant characters. This feature right here is what separates the Tenkaichi series from every other Dragon Ball game. I can finally beat Vegeta Scatter the way he was meant to be played, and Baby's character actually feels like a tyrant. Although this feature is extremely limited right now, it feels nice that it's finally included again. Yes, because this is a Tenkaichi game, some characters are going to be more OP than others. However, that doesn't mean it's impossible to win, especially if you know how to play the game. I legit won against Gogeta Blue with just human TN. However, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have quite literal years of practice. Which brings me to my next topic. So I'm playing some rounds with my friends and they're all telling me to go easy and chill out. I'm like, huh? And just a few weeks ago, I shredded someone with Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I felt so bad I had to tell bro GG. Then that's when he sent me this. I told him that the combos were easy to me because it's quite literally a copy-paste game from the OG Tenkaichi games. But he told me that he had never played them ever. That's when it hit me. I've been practicing these combos since before a lot of these kids, well, a lot of y'all took your first breath on earth. If you played the former games, then these controls are muscle memory. And that's why I didn't really need to stay in training for long. Aside from learning some of the new mechanics.
Take this seriously.
From BT3 to the newer generation, and I didn't even have to change inputs. For once, this is not one of those games where just mashing square or X is going to help you. Dare I say it actually takes skill. If the fights from BT3 felt straight out the show, then Sparking Zero only upped it. During most of my online matches, besides 1 or 2 people, I haven't had to really deal with any real spammers or cheaters. I can't say that I've also been shredded in this game either. I am only around a B3 online and the fights have seemed fair so far. Even playing against some friends, I wouldn't say the skill gap is huge, and I'm a veteran with years of experience. I also like how they have 2 different control sets, one for the new players and one for the OG vets. After a while, even a few matches, you pick up a lot of techniques. I genuinely believe that anyone can be great at this game if they actually put the effort in. So to anyone trashing this game and saying it's not a fighting game, or saying it fell off after 2 months, I can only assume that you were never good in the first place. One of my biggest issues in the Xenoverse series was how some of the core aspects of any game was removed. No main menu, no basic 1-player versus 2-player mode, no story mode, world tournament, no would you like to play offline or multiplayer? If you wanted to do any of these games, you have to pick a character, wait for the game to load, and hopefully have the ability to fly or not, glide around in your scooter or whatever, go all the way to a robot and select offline or online fighting. It was so annoying, and it was actually worse than Xenoverse 1. I thought even fighters would have a basic menu, but I was wrong about that too. I'm so glad Dragon Ball is finally on the right track again. Story mode, local play, offline, online, these are things we've needed for years. Even Jump Force fell into the trap. Anime games were spirally downward until we finally been graced with the masterpiece known as Sparking Zero. I'm so happy that it doesn't take me a light year to go from the world tournament to story mode. We can finally adjust the time limit to our liking. Crazy that it took an entire console generation to bring back core features. But they didn't just bring back features, they built upon them. For example, I like how we could finally see the outfits for the characters before we go into the battle. I know it might have been something along with the art direction, but we legit haven't had this since over a decade ago in Ultimate Tenkaichi, if I remember correctly. Also, the transition from menu to menu was pretty cool. Nice to see what could be done with the power of modern technology. It's almost seamless switching around. Speaking of seamless, that's basically this entire game. Not a single loading screen. Seeing the transition from the story mode menu to the action is unreal at times. Oh yeah, speaking of story, where do I start? Me personally, if you want a genuine Dragon Ball Z story, I'd say play Dragon Ball Z Kakarot or even Budokai 1. But what separates Sparking Zero from those games is that for the first time ever, we have a Dragon Ball video game that includes the events of Dragon Ball Super, along with what-if scenarios. Now, as someone who's played just about every Dragon Ball story mode out there, I think this was an amazing refresher for OG fans and also a basic summary and playthrough for new fans. The story mode features scenarios that are all connected together to form the timeline depending on who you play. The story mode experience is insane, as a feature has been added to cutscenes that let you be in first person of the character you selected. One of my favorites features Goku standing across everyone from the Cell games. As you say goodbye to your loved ones, an incredible detail putting yourself in Goku's and even really Gohan's too. Cell is just seconds from exploding and the wind is howling just to see Goku and Cell disappear in thin air, and it's all over. Amazing feature. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero went the extra mile and added secret what-if scenarios depending on how you play the game. Not trying to spoil anything, but there's a scenario in the game where Piccolo intervened in the fight between Goku and Android 19, and eventually he's the one to take Gohan into the hyperbolic time chamber. It genuinely kept me on my toes the whole time because I didn't know what was going to happen. Could you imagine a timeline where Goku received his heart vaccine in time? Well, you don't have to anymore. The Sparking Zero writers actually cooked with these Emmy-worthy scenarios. Every character getting character development and seeing the bond with one another depending on your choices. What a masterpiece, and I can't wait to finish them myself. Also, if you want more story, there's another feature introduced that lets you create custom stories from any character to share online with the world. I have to say, I haven't spent exactly much time in this mode, but I can say that some of these stories have been intriguing to try eventually.
It took a lot to get this far!
Alright, clearly no video game is perfect. There's always going to be some flaws, and unfortunately Sparking Zero has a few. While we did get so many characters used, we unfortunately lost quite a bit. The majority of Dragon Ball and GT roster has been completely wiped. I know some characters don't matter, but the variety is what made BT3 what it was. I mean, nobody of course is going to use Chi-Chi against a Great Ape. That would be silly, right? Chi-Chi, here we go. I know you got this. This is not my first opponent. This is not my first opponent. But still, having her as a choice was nice. These characters definitely matter, especially when doing DP battles online. I mainly gotta throw on Videl or Pan, but it'll be nice to try others. Like, I definitely think I could cook online with Nam or even Mercenary Tao. The Great Ape choices were reduced significantly, and I don't know if it was because a lot of the transformations weren't canon, but even Nappa keeping his conscience and talking during his Great Ape form was insane to me as a kid. Thinking about it now makes me want to hop on BT3. Also notice that quite a few outfits have been left out, like Goku's signature end of Z fit. I truly hope this can be added later on, either in an update or in not a paid bundle or anything, but for the most part, the outfits are on point. Another thing I thought was odd was the deletion of the announcer voice, question mark. For whatever reason, they decided to get rid of it. Like, as soon as the character introduction is done, they throw into the fight. It took me a bit to get used to it, but I'd appreciate a warning or something next time. I'm pretty sure that's core just for about every fighting game on Earth. For Dragon Ball, it was cool because you could change the announcer voices too. And with the inclusion of newer characters introduced over the years, the possibilities are endless. I'm not opposed to a soft-hearted Pan's voice before. I also find it kinda odd that there were a lack of online modes. Yes, I know what era we're in, but the game is amazing enough to play against a computer and still have fun. Offline modes, including the character tower features from the Tenkaichi games, and even survival, so many scenarios that could have been included for the future. But realistically, it may just be included in Sparking Zero 2. As I said, maybe it was intentional that a lot of these things were included because it could potentially just be part of some DLC or season pass in the future, but there's always still hope. Overall, Sparking Zero still continues to blow my mind to this very day. Until this game released, the most fun I had on any Dragon Ball game was Budokai Tenkaichi 3. That game took years to form that opinion. Sparking Zero took a few days. This game still continues to amaze me no matter how many times I play it. Like the title of my video, it's quite literally the game of our dreams. If they were able to perfect this much on their first game, I can only imagine how Sparking Zero 2 will hold up. I love that I can recreate or reenact scenes from any moment in the show and it feels genuine. If you are a Dragon Ball or fighting game fan period, pick this game up, you will not be disappointed, and well worth every dollar. Shout out to everyone who had a part in the creation of this game. I truly believe that this is what Akira Toriyama envisioned in his world of Dragon Ball. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Hinata's Wish, and this is why Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is the greatest Dragon Ball game of all time. Please take care, everyone. Until we meet again.